I love eating. Eating delicious meals with friends, or eating asses with my glasses. It doesn't matter. Not only is it a necessary requirement for my continued living, but it's also fun. Chomping down on a tasty meal can be a really pleasant experience. That's why when a game decides to include food as some sort of mechanic, it's almost always memorable. Health foods are a thing in real life, sure, but they don't fix broken legs. I mean, I don't know about you, but even though I've had some really good meals on this earth, I've never really had one that actively improved my quality of life like some video game meals do. If anything, I've just been left feeling worse afterwards.
Ew. Ouch. Way too much to the pizza. Oh, it hurts real bad.
Today, I wanted to talk to y'all about some tasty shit. The creme de la video game gourmet. Shit's so good that not only will it make you want to slap your mama, but afterwards, you and your mama will both be healthier for having shared the slap-inducing meal. In short, I want to talk about meals in video games that provide some noticeable in-game difference. That said, I did want to talk about stuff that I could actually provide footage for, so I can't talk about dishes like Castlevania's chickens or whatever the hell Link decides to make in Breath of the Wild. Although, having mentioned them there, I guess I technically just did. There's more though, so just chill while you and your buddy Heffy G have a little talk about gaming's tastiest meals. How can I talk about gaming meals without touching up on the sleeper hit and critical darling, Cruelty Squad? Consumer Soft Products' latest magnum opus, Cruelty Squad gives you all the delicious video game ultraviolence you crave at only half the calories. Competitors may say they've come up with alternatives to Cruelty Squad's LSD-inspired graphics and unique surreal commentary on real-world issues, but there is no way in hell they can touch literally eating the flesh of the bodies you pile up as a means of progressing you in this game's butthole version of society. The other meals in this video are legitimately the kind of dishes that Gordon Ramsay would happily eat.
Prizes, the fucking bass is fucking raw!
Well, maybe Guy Fieri. But Cruelty Squad's poignant use of gameplay mechanic to reinforce a world-building tentpole is some Machiavellian shit that I need to commend. Even if it only gets you one measly point of health. And that's still part of the metaphor! Yeah, I have my hands tied here. Tarkov had to be on this list. It's got the best eating animations in gaming since we got Naked Snake digging into pythons and Snake Eater. Tarkov knows you're going to watch these animations countless times, and it respects you by having them be excellent. There's a good dozen or so food items in Tarkov, but only one deserves to be on this list. There's so many quests, requests, and lore about the multiple types of Tushonka in Tarkov that I had to talk about it. From the fact that your character operates a spoon out of thin air to eat the thing, to the PP-19 submachine gun you can get for what essentially amounts to 3 cans of D-tier lunch meat, Tushonka is something special to the people of Eastern Europe, and anybody in the Soviet ring of bullshit. Hell, even us Cubans had this stuff back on the island. My mom called it carne rusa when I showed her a can I bought of the stuff, so this beef went the distance. Yeah, Tushonka is too culturally significant to Slav jank as a genre for me to not credit it as one of gaming's best meals, here and anywhere else you might see it pop up. Das vidanya, on to the next. "2018's Red Dead Redemption 2 is about a lot of things. The will to do what is right in an unfair world, the importance of loyalty in the grand scheme of things, and Dan Houser leaving Rockstar with one last game for them to milk for 10 years before being forced to release a mediocre GTA 6.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
But more than any of those things, Red Dead Redemption 2 is about traveling and taking in the world around you while doing so. That's easy too. They built a beautiful world to get lost in, and by the time you see Saint Denis in game, you'll have long since adopted the country boy mentality, and that's exactly why this next item's in this video. Its in-game buffs aren't anything too astounding, but similarly to Cruelty Squad's man meat, the lobster bisque you can order at the Bastille Saloon reminds you of just how far you've come. A traditional bisque is made of cuts of shellfish not good enough for market, and an authentic bisque will have parts of the shells ground to a paste and added to the soup to thicken it. Just the act of walking around the city is enough to make the player feel quote-unquote uncivilized. And walking in with trail of dust on your hip and a bloody knife on your belt while you order a bowl of this hot soup will make you feel even more out of place. Red Dead 2's stakes rise and fall throughout the story, and so too does Arthur's quality of life. When you can afford 2 bowls of lobster bisque, a prime rib dinner, 4 shots of whiskey, and you turn down 3 hookers on the way up to your lavish hotel room, Arthur's inevitable fall from grace hits that much harder. What can be said about Resident Evil Village that hasn't been said already? It's an excellent horror game, it's not really that scary, except for that one part, and it reintroduced the internet to the joys of wanting to get stepped on. Really, as a game, it's the complete package. It's got it all. The aforementioned vampire mommy, werewolves, some dude doing a Nicolas Cage impersonation.
To see if you're strong enough to be a part of Miranda's family.
I don't want to be a part of Miranda's family.
Neither did I, but here we are. And I'm next in line, right?
And Romanian cuisine representation. I've never had any in real life, but boy does it look good in these menus. And out of all of the options, there's one dish that stands out. Tociture de pui. Hopefully I didn't butcher that pronunciation, but yeah, tocitura, however it's pronounced, is a traditional Romanian Moldovan dish that is essentially bits of meat cooked in its own fat. Think chicken nuggets a la 100 years ago. I'd imagine being in a shitty situation like Ethan Winters, with his new raptor hand and all that, enjoying a gourmet meal in the cold alongside the Duke probably made for the nicest times he had in that hellhole village. Unless you consider Resident Evil porn canon. Either way, gourmet Eastern European cuisine is heaps better than beef stew from a can, so it was easy to add this to the list and not feel guilty. Not to mention the health upgrade it gives Ethan is pretty useful too. Not as handy as what I picked out for number 1, but hey, I might be biased. You see, viewer, I'm old. The more I look back on the games of my youth, the more parallels I see between them and the action movies of the 80s and 90s. Things used to be a different kind of dumb. They're still pretty dumb now. I make video game videos on the internet after all, but back then they just didn't have to worry about criticism as much. Games now are nuanced and full of depth. Of course, partly owed to Half-Life's cultural influence, but also because of political crap and general ironic public opinion of entertainment. But back in 2001, you can make a game with a dude that killed Nazis and had no other defining characteristics besides being really good at killing Nazis, and have it be a classic that holds up to this day. Return to Castle Wolfenstein is a true gaming gem that is so good, nobody needs it re-released. Seriously, look at this game. It holds up so well. Gameplay, story, graphics. This game is the Ana de Armas of video games. It's the whole package. Speaking of packages, BJ Blazkowicz is the ultimate and first video game Chad. Before Machine Games made him get up in his own feelings, BJ was the dude running through hordes of anti-Semitic dickheads, then healing himself by sheer force of bravado and by stealing their friggin' dinner. Must be that authentic German cooking, but the warm meals from Return to Castle Wolfenstein are the best gaming meal because they give you a big old chunk of health points when you eat them, and you just can't beat that. Go play Return to Castle Wolfenstein and become the BJ, gaming's proto-Chad. Go beat up some nerds and steal their lunches. I'm your buddy Heffy G, and if you're a Nazi, go f*** yourself. Have a good one, everybody.